Qué rollo, quiero mandar un saludo a mi amigo Goodfella de parte de tu amigo Jaime Munguia. Un abrazo, carnal. Ánimo.
All right, man. Jaime Munguia just stopped the Canadian. I believe it was the 10th round or the ninth, one of the two. But it ended up being an excellent, really good fight for the most part. Bazinyan, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the Canadian. He was trained once again by the Canadian house trainer, Mark Ramsey. Uh, but, one thing he was doing well was he was keeping Munguia on the outside and controlling Munguia with his jab and a few counter shots. The only mistake he really made was not following up his jab early. And if he was going to take a single shot after the jab, it should have been the Munguia body, slowing down Munguia body. So him not following up those stiff jabs with power punches and him not going to Munguia body is the reason he lost. It was his two downfalls. But for Munguia, what he did was he remained patient. And the one thing I liked about Freddie Roach, he used his jab a lot more with Freddie Roach than Erik Morales. And I think had he picked his jab up a lot earlier and tried to out jab this guy, which he had a really good stiff jab, the Canadian. But I think if he would have out jabbed the guy earlier, this fight would have been over earlier. But the Canadian just didn't go to the body and just didn't follow up off of hitting Munguia with stiff jabs. So you're not going to slow Munguia down with stiff jabs and without follow-up power punches and without body punches. And he didn't do neither one of them, unfortunately. So, what Munguia did was basically slow him down. Munguia was like, all right, I don't know if the corner told him, but he had a conversation in the corner when it looked like the Canadian kind of was about to take off with the fight. And then Munguia started throwing them liver shots. Munguia started going to his body. And one thing about that Canadian guy, he was more of a plotter, but he used his legs really, really well when he did move his legs. He was more of a cover-up guy, then try to come and get you. And then Munguia just started throwing the body work. The body work started to slow him down. And then when the body work started to slow his legs down and slow his movement down, Munguia split the guard with the uppercut, came around with the hooks and throwing combinations. So basically Munguia body work took his legs away. Them liver shots was slowing him down time and time again. So, the Canadian started to become a sitting duck, and then he started to kind of fight back. But his energy level wasn't there. Munguia hurt him in the 7th, 8th round or 6th round or something like that, and almost took him out when the Munguia kind of punched him out. Munguia got a quick recovery period. Munguia punch himself out, be out for a minute, then the next round he'd come back like Mario with the star. And I think him finishing his opponents, he a little reckless when he closing the show. He could have closed the show that first time. He hurt the Canadian, but the problem with that was he just throw a bunch of shit. He don't really place his shots when he closing the show. He close you out with volume, and if he learned how to really pick his shots and close the show without just throwing hella punches, I think he'd be a lot better fighter. But that'd come with more experience and more repetition. But his way of finishing guys is just throwing punches. And even when he was about to finish him, like the second time he hurt him before he knocked him out, that same 9th, 10th, I think it was the 10th round, he got clipped. He got clipped with a hook. When there wasn't nothing on the hook. And then he proceeded to hurt him again and close the show. But it was the body work. But I like to see Munguia use that jab. When you fighting a guy like this, I like to see Munguia shoot that jab to the chest, shoot that jab a little bit more, And I think he would have got the job done a lot sooner had he double jab, had he threw a stiff jab, had he really worked on his variations of jabs, man, counter jab, up jab, spear jab. Had he really worked on that jab, he would have took this guy out a lot earlier. So there's still some things missing. There's still some things missing in this game as far as now he's slowing down, he's being patient. But now it's just like, okay, let's get back on that jab. When you fight a guy like that, you got to jab him. Unfortunately for him, his adjustment was body work, liver shots, going to the body, taking his jab away, taking his legs away, and then splitting the guard with the uppercuts, then coming around the guard with the hooks, and just continue to work up and down. That's work for him. But some other fighter that's not going to work with. So he got to continue to work on that jab. He working on his defense, moving his head, And I agree with Tim Bradley. That bounce he did, he fights certain guys. People going to attack him off that bounce because it's no way he can defend himself when he bouncing like that. So when he reset and bounce like that to get the blood flowing in the legs, get them juices flowing in the legs, somebody gonna take advantage of bouncing like that. That's damn near like the equivalent of T.O. throwing that uppercut punch while leaving his feet. So he got to be careful when he throwing the punches. Some guys gonna try to attack that. But overall, it was a good performance coming off a loss to Canelo. I don't know, in my mind, I thought he got knocked out, but he didn't, obviously. But like the body work, I just like to see him kind of maybe develop a jab to the chest, develop a stiff jab like his opponent, or a real power jab, like that step-in power jab, triple G throw. Or maybe even start seeing if he could throw that jab to the body. I know it's a little risky for him, but yeah, he a problem. I don't see Edgar Berlanga beating him. I mean, him and Caleb plan to be a good fight, but obviously we would need probably Canelo to get out the way and allow for these guys to fight for them belts. But overall, man, I thought Canadian showed that he one of the players in the game too. He'd be a good opponent for Trevor McCombie. He'd be a good opponent for Caleb Plant. He'd be a good opponent for Edgar Berlanga. A little bit dangerous. Him and Demetrius Andrade will have a good fight as well too. So, yeah, that Canadian guy, man, I like to see him get in the mix as well too. Especially, I know Janibek, defending his IBF in Australia. But if Janibek decided to come up, so now we kind of getting some names in the game at 168 pounds, man. So, but Munguia moving forward. I mean, obviously Berlanga won't be next, coming off a loss. I'm not sure they're ready to make the Mbili fight. I know he fought on ESPN, and De La Hoya claims that he's staying put. He really still with Golden Boy. He's just fighting at ESPN for this fight. So, I know Mbili, obviously with this, if that's true, this negotiation with ESPN, they form a relationship. I know they kind of under the Rehab season banner as well too. Golden Boy, top rank, but Mbili would be a fun fight. Plan to be a fun fight. Berlanga would be a fun fight. McCombie for him would be a fun fight. So we'll see where they go with Munguia. Probably another, good warm-up fight. Probably like 2 other good fights, and then maybe if Canelo get out the way, you will see him start to unify titles. But I'd love to see both these guys back in the ring, and then maybe down the road they can do a rematch. So, but yeah, man, let me know what you girls and guys think. Check out the Fight Reaction playlist. Hit the link tree. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Check out the Patreon, man. Check me on Apple Podcasts. Check out my Detroit channel, Motor City Sports Talk. Check out my other channel, Free Game 89, FR33 Game 89, Patreon, the whole 9. Fight Reaction playlist. Cash App, Venmo, CJ Good 313, X, Instagram. Hit the link tree. Peace.